Hi everyone, welcome back to another paint with me video. Just a heads up, the lighting in this video isn't great because I was painting right before it started raining. So yeah, sorry about that. Hope you still enjoy watching. For today's painting, we're going for a foggy morning scene, so we want a soft misty effect. As always, I'm starting with the sky. I'm using white paint with a slight mix of other colors to create a grayish tone. I actually have some leftover white paint that's already mixed with other colors from previous paintings. I'll keep it in a separate container so it's not pure white anymore, which works well with foggy scenes like this. If you don't have pre-mixed paint, you can add a little black and blue to white to get a sort of grayish tone. Once the sky is done, I move on to painting a tree in the distance. Since it's a foggy morning, the colors need to be soft and muted. So I mix a bit of green with mostly black and white to get that effect. After that, I mix green with white and a little black to keep the muted tones, then start painting the faraway field. To add some variation, I mix in a bit of yellow ochre, but I keep the colors muted since the field is still in the distance. I also add a few shadow grass details, mainly in the areas where the reference shows more visible strokes. At this stage, I'm just marking where the grass shadows will be before continuing to paint the middle tones again. Next, I'm adding the middle green color to the field after laying down the shadows. We'll come back to add more details later. I'm also painting the tree or bushes in the distance, but this one is closer to us, so the colors aren't as muted as the first one. At this point, the lighting starts to get a bit tricky. I had to turn on my lamp because the natural light wasn't enough, and it was about to rain. I'd already recorded the video, so I still want to upload it. Sorry again for the lighting, and I hope it's not too distracting. Now I'm adding a fence in the distance. The color I'm mixing for the road is not very clear because of the lighting, but I use red ochre mixed with a bit of black. For the path that's farther away, I mix in a little white mixture I had earlier to tone it down. Now I'm mixing the color for the middle section of the road. I'm using yellow ochre and red ochre with leftover white mixture to keep the color from being too intense. For the farther part of the road, I add even more white to mute the color further, so it blends into the foggy atmosphere. I had to cut some parts since the lighting got really bad and I don't think it was good enough to include, so here's how the road looks so far. I'm adding a bit more detail but keeping it simple, not too much, just enough to give it some texture. I'm adding a bit more texture to the grass now. The final touch will be the white flowers in the field, which also help cover up areas where I'm not too happy with the grass strokes. That's actually why I love adding flowers to my paintings. Whenever a part doesn't turn out quite right, whether it's the stroke or the color, I can just place some flowers over it. Now it looks intentionally messy, but in a good way. The flowers are meant to have that natural white look. If you've seen my paintings, you'll notice I often add that touch of white flowers. Just refining some details on the road, and that's it. I also realized I forgot to mention the title earlier. This painting is called First Light. Also, when I say check out the print in my description, it's not a print of this exact piece, but of an earlier version I painted before. Thanks so much for watching.